Ever since I wrote the script for this video, which was 6 months ago, I have been contemplating whether to post it or not, because there are going to be two outcomes. Either the community likes my tier list or I get a drone strike on my house. But what's life when it's not lived without risk, right? So hey guys, it's me, Ryuma, and I am here with the part 1 of my top 50 strongest One Piece characters list of all time, which doesn't include Gorosei, Garling, and Dragon. This video might seem a bit longer than usual due to the fried attention spans of people, but remember, I am including the scaling of most characters, which I am going to mention. Many of you will disagree with my list, and even if you do, you are still getting scaling of like 50 characters. Also, you guys can join my Discord server. It's an active server, and there's hundreds of people here with different takes and claims, so having a discussion or a debate is easily done. All right, enough talking. Now let's get into the list. At number 50 is the heavenly demon Doflamingo. Now, Doflamingo first appeared back in Jaya Arc, but he didn't have as much relevance back then. At Marineford, we explored more of his strength as he was able to control Atmos, a Whitebeard pirate division commander, through the use of his strings, easily overpowering Atmos. Doflamingo manages to stop Jozu with his strings before he can use his brilliant punk again, which Crocodile stated would be a problem. Crocodile's interaction with Doflamingo was very interesting as well, because when Doffy cut Crocodile's head, he didn't die, implying that the most probable interpretation being that he didn't use armament hockey, or maybe Crocodile is fast enough to react to him. We later see them clashing evenly. Doflamingo, along with some pacifista, nearly killed Moria before he was saved by Absalom, and Doflamingo seemed to have only one bruise after the war, likely from Jozu. At Dressrosa, Doflamingo is able to react to half of Fujitora's meteorite by summoning strings and cutting the half that Law had already severed. Doflamingo was able to divert the meteorite away from where he was standing before Caesar or any of the Marines could perceive what happened. Despite not using armament hockey to block Diable Jambe Sanji's flaming kick, Doflamingo withstands the flames and then proceeds to dodge Sanji's Premier Hachi's hash with relative ease. With pentachromatic string, Doflamingo easily cuts across Sanji before he can react. With a single flick of his finger, Doflamingo is able to completely restrict Diable Jambe Sanji, stopping him in mid-air. Despite having his back turned, Doflamingo is able to react to Diable Jambe Sanji's Poile Frier Spectre and block it with his coat. Doflamingo can also manipulate others using Parsite Strong or create his clones. The strings are also as sharp as blades, as mentioned in this panel. This means that Doflamingo's clones are as durable and sharp as Doflamingo's birdcage. An interesting detail which I would like to mention is how birdcage stops transponder snails from communicating as they use telepathy to communicate. Doflamingo's birdcage is powerful enough to cut through Fujitora's meteors with ease. Doflamingo withstands Law's injection shot, which fires a piercing shot through Doflamingo's stomach via durability negation. Despite getting hit by Law's injection shot, Doflamingo reacts to Law's tact by blocking the outer tower with spider web. It's honestly pretty impressive how durable he is. After this sequence, Luffy unlocks Gear 4th and Doflamingo gets Perception blitzed. Doflamingo is barely able to coat his face in armament hockey in order to protect himself against Luffy's armament hockey-coated Gum Gum Rhino Schneider. He's able to dodge Culverin and retaliate back with his own attack. After being awakened, Doflamingo is able to press Gear 4th Bounce Man. Doflamingo then thanks Leo Bazooka from Luffy, which sends him flying. Despite Cavendish stating that there's no way Doflamingo can still be alive, Doflamingo maintains consciousness as the birdcage hasn't disappeared. With Ever White, Doflamingo turns the entire town into strings, including the ground. With Thousand Arrows, Flapping Thread, Doflamingo coats thousands of string with armament hockey to attack base Luffy, who he traps with the string from the ground. Awakened, Doflamingo pummels base Luffy with his armament hockey-coated strings, which Luffy can barely defend against even when coating himself with hockey. Awakened, Doflamingo produces enough strings to use Spiderweb and an armament hockey-coated 16 Holy Bullets God Thread. Doflamingo can also attack with these strings before G4 bounceman Luffy can use his Gum Gum King Kong gun. After the fight, it was mentioned that even after multiple days had passed, Luffy hadn't recovered from his injuries, which shows Doflamingo's lethality. At number 49, we have Charlotte Cracker. As one of the Sweet Three generals, Cracker is portrayed to be among the strongest of Big Mom's pirate crew. In the whole Cake Island arc, Luffy even acknowledged him as one of the strongest foes he's ever faced. We see in Chapter 836 that, although Big Mom knew Luffy defeated Doflamingo, she sent Cracker after Luffy. This implies that Big Mom believes Cracker is strong enough to defeat someone who is stronger or relative to Doflamingo's strength. In Chapter 837, we also see how Luffy comments on how strong Cracker's armament haki is. On top of this, till this time, Luffy hadn't dealt a single bit of damage on him, and Nami had stated that Cracker was overpowering Luffy. In Chapter 838, Cracker also managed to land a sword slash across Luffy's arm, cutting his armament haki-coated skin. Cracker has the Bis Bis fruit, which is a paramecia type, allowing him to produce and manipulate an infinite number of biscuits. By imagining what he wants to make, he can craft an outline and change the form of biscuits. Due to him being able to produce an infinite number of biscuit warriors, which required Luffy to use Gear 4 in order to destroy just one, Cracker's fighting power might as well be limitless. He's even seen to be able to pressure Bound Man's speed with Honey Pretzel. He also has pretty good stamina, being able to fight for 11 hours straight. And Cracker is only defeated after being sent flying through 3 of his own biscuit warriors, and with the outside help from Nami. Katakuri essentially praises Cracker, as he didn't understand how he could lose to Luffy before. At number 48 is Charlotte Smoothie, another sweet general of the Big Mom Pirates. Smoothie has the Ring Ring fruit, which is a paramecia type, allowing her to squeeze things to create juice, or cut an opponent with her sword to pull out their moisture and dry them up. She can then store this moisture into her body to make herself bigger and expel the moisture as an attack. Oda also states that Smoothie is very tough. Vito calls Prospero, Compote, Katakuri, Smoothie, Daifuku, and Oven monsters, with Katakuri and Smoothie being above the other 4 siblings, as these 2 are generals. This implies that she is indeed stronger than Cracker. Smoothie is able to make herself bigger through her Devil Fruit, making her comparable to giants and the size of her ship. At number 47 is Katakuri. Now be mad, but I don't really care because he's just a power-cliffed bum. He was surpassed by Luffy in the end of the whole Cake Island, and even though he received a haki bloom, we don't know how strong he really grew. He's shown to be a capable user of Future Sight, Armament Haki, and his Devil Fruit, which is a special paramecia. In film Red, he was portrayed to be equal to Sanji, but that's non-canon, so we will ignore it. Logically speaking, even a Zoro who had his bones broken after conquest of the sea would one-shot Katakuri without using 3-sword style. His only hope of ranking higher is if he returns and actually becomes somewhat capable like Marco and Zoro, who are capable of fighting emperors and admirals. At number 46 is Izo, one of the former commanders of the Whitebeard Pirates. He has pretty impressive feats, such as showing superior speed to base Kaido and being able to shoot the sword out of King's hand before he can react. Remember Act 1 Luffy, who is relative to Katakuri, got blitzed and one-shot by a drunk Kaido. He can also use advanced armament haki and coat his bullets in it as well. He can also cut Kaido by using slicing rounds. Izo also manages to save Marco by grabbing him out of harm's way. Izo was able to take out a large group of beast pirates on his own, though he did suffer some injuries. Despite being in an injured state before fighting Guernica and Maha in a 1v2 scenario, Izo was able to injure Guernica and take down Maha alone. He's also my favorite scabbard. At number 45 is First Son of the Sea Jinbei. Jinbei is one of my favorite characters, but since Marineford he hasn't done shit. He swore against Big Mom that the crewmate of the Pirate King has nothing to fear, yet he runs away after getting a glimpse of Mars. At Marineford, even after Moria enhances his strength by absorbing the shadows of at least 7 Marine soldiers, Jinbei is able to stop Moria's slash attack with Fishman Karate, Shark Skin, Palm Thrust. Jinbei then proceeds to damage Moria with Shark Brick Fist. Jinbei was also fighting Akainu and saving Luffy. Even if he used external factors, it was still pretty impressive, considering he was blocking attacks from the highest offensive power. Aokiji praises the strength of Jinbei, Crocodile, and Ivankov in Chapter 557. He has also shown great stamina by fighting for 5 days straight, and in Egghead, he proceeds to do nothing against Lucci, but creates a smoke grenade. At number 44 is Queen, one of the all-stars of the Beast Pirates. Queen is another one of the weaker commanders because he literally got defeated in 2 hits by base Big Mom. And then you compare Katakuri and Queen to characters like Marco and Zoro to downplay them. Queen has the Dragon Fruit, ancient type, Brachiosaurus model, which is a Zoan type, allowing him to turn into a Brachiosaurus that's larger than Big Mom. In Onigashima, he got bitched by Marco alongside his comrade King. Marco overpowered him multiple times with attacks like Phoenix Brand and Crane Talons, which made Queen bleed. Later, we see the rivalry of the century that is Chopper and Queen, and how Chopper makes a helicopter out of him. He's pretty durable as he received minimal damage from Diable Jambi attacks. During the first half of the fight, Sanji even implies how Queen has the upper hand in the fight. In the later half, Queen tanks a 9-hit named attack combo from Sanji and a Collier Coup. Now, I could go in depth into the fight like I did with Crackers and Doflamingo, but it will take way too much time, so I might make a separate video on it later. At number 43 is Killer. Now I am pretty much going to ignore his fight with Zoro, as that was a weaker version of both the characters. I'll still mention how Zoro praises Killer's strength and skill during this fight. In Oden's journal, Killer was included as the young, powerful new pirates. At the rooftop, Kaido praises Zoro and Killer's attacks, despite them doing no damage to him. Later, Killer dodges Kaido's Demolition Gust slash, which is invisible. Later, Killer scales Kaido's body and uses Scyther Sonic to bypass Kaido's durability by cutting inside of his body with Soundwave-based attacks. Killer deflects multiple invisible air slashes from Kaido with his Punishers and withstands getting electrocuted by Big Mom's Indra. Killer also manages to push Napoleon out of Big Mom's hands before she can react. Despite Kid and Killer getting caught in the vicinity of Big Mom's Fulgora, they're able to get back up relatively quickly. He also completely negs Hawkins without taking much damage and has good enough battle IQ to find his weakness. Although Killer was facing Hawkins' Strawman card's Death upright, he easily blitzes and beheads Hawkins' strongest attack with Beheading Claws. With Spin and Sonic, Killer blitzes and takes out Hawkins with a single attack, beating Hawkins in 2 hits without suffering any injuries when he was fighting back. Now, these feats don't ignore the fact that he still got negged by Red Hair Pirates. But again, it's the Red Hair Pirates, not some random-ass crew who has a fish as a captain or Gorlock the Destroyer as a captain. At number 42 is Kaku, a member of Cypher Paul Aegis Zero. Lucci, Kaku, and Stussy are known as Masked Killers, meaning they are among the most elite CP0 agents. Kaku and Egghead withstood a laser beam from the Frontier Dome, which was at 72% power. The Frontier Dome was created by Vegapunk, which is likely to be based off of Kizaru's Devil Fruit. I'd like to add a point here about how Vegapunk states that Logia, Devil Fruits, are hard to replicate, thus concluding that Pacifista's rays, in fact, aren't light speed. In Chapter 1069, Kaku and Stussy are able to dodge S-Bear's onslaught of laser beams. He also survived a clash against Zoro, which doesn't seem so impressive until you realize he's capable of one-shotting him. With Nose Pistol, awakened Kaku is able to push Zoro back with his armament hockey-coated nose. With Killimanguro, Kaku produces multiple air slashes by rotating his neck at high speeds, which also pushes Zoro back. Despite Zoro pushing Kaku into the ground with a sword swing, Kaku is unscratched. Another thing I observed was that awakened Zoan users typically absorb and control the user's personality, but Kaku is shown to maintain his personality, showing he has control over his power. Luffy, Zoro, Lucci, and Kaku react to S-Bear's Ursa Shock, dodging the giant shockwave explosion. With Purgatory, Oni, Giri, and Tempest Kick White Thunder, base Zoro and Kaku are able to send S-Hawk flying through a wall, landing their attacks before S-Hawk can react. With Tempest Kick Slaughter, base Kaku pressures S-Hawk to dodge and block the attacks. At number 41 is King the Real Black Swordsman. Now King is one of the most overrated characters in the recent times because he apparently went extreme diff with Zoro, which is just false. While yay, Zoro's bones did get healed, it didn't recover his stamina, which is why we see him huffing while fighting King. After unlocking Advanced Conqueror's Haki, he three-shots King with ease. King also got manhandled by Marco on Onigashima and even bled by Marco's attack. Many people cope that it was debris, but that's not true. When King gets unmasked, we see bruises on his face, which is from the fight he had with Marco. Now I'd like to debunk the point of Marco having no attacking power or offense. We see how Marco can make King bleed. Zoro, with Black Rope Dragon Twister, was able to cut Kaido's scales at the rooftop. The same attack was completely blocked by King, and he didn't take a single bit of damage. I'd also like to include how King himself believes his durability is above the likes of dinosaurs and dragons like Sasaki and Kaido. But that's pretty much all King's for going for him. He doesn't have anything other than good durability. His speed is very inconsistent as he got blitzed by one sword style, Lion's Song, which Zoro thinks is a superior attack to his Black Rope Dragon Twister, which King had blocked while he dodges Purgatory Onigiri while having Flame On. We haven't also seen any impressive Haki feat from him, and after Zoro unlocked Advanced Conquerors, we haven't seen King being able to press him at all, like he was able to with fatigued Zoro. Durability can only get you so far. It becomes especially bad when Green Bull 1 shots King and Queen. Now, you might say, well, he's an admiral. What did you expect? But guess what? A stronger admiral like Kizaru couldn't beat Marco without an off-guard attack, or even Fujitora couldn't beat Karasu at Marijoa. This again highlights the significant difference between the likes of King, Katakuri, and Marco Sabo. At number 40, we have Stussy. Just like Kaku, she has earned the rank of Masked Killers, which makes her the deadliest of the fighters in Cypher Paul Aegis Zero. In Egghead, Kaku and Stussy are able to dodge S-Bear's onslaught of laser beams. Later, Stussy is able to knock out Awakened Kaku, who was caught off guard with a single bite. With Paper Art Afterimage, Stussy is able to blitz and trick a distressed base Lucci into attacking an afterimage of herself. Stussy has access to a lipstick imbued with Sea Prism Stone, allowing Stussy to weaken Lucci in order to knock him out with one bite. Stussy also calls Lucci and Kaku powerful, which is why she had to fight unfairly and catch them off guard. Before anyone else notices, Stussy is able to perceive and intercept base Lucci's finger pistol to protect Vegapunk. At number 39, we have Black Lung Sanji. Sanji is not as strong as Zoro, Yamato, Kid, and Law. I don't know who made this agenda of Sanji and Zoro being equals. When we have seen the power difference between them after time skip get bigger and bigger, I can't remember one single feat of Sanji, which compares to any good of Zoro or Yamato. At best, Sanji can compete with Rooftop Zoro, which on its own is a stretch. Once unlocking Advanced Conquerors, Zoro and Sanji were never in the same tier. If he wants to compete with Zoro, he needs to pull out Epstein Jambay of some shit, the way he's been acting around a 12-year-old Bonnie. And don't even remind me of Film Z. Let's talk about his feats. As I mentioned prior, Sanji doesn't have any too impressive feats, Semai, because he hasn't fought strong opponents. I mean, what feat do you expect fighting an overweight dinosaur who skips leg day? At Egghead, he finally faces Kizaru and performs a Marco-level feat. I don't know why people glaze Sanji because of this feat which Marco performed 500 chapters ago. Last time I remember, Marco was getting called a fraud installer, but when Sanji does this shit, his fans act like he's the 5th emperor or something. Even Kizaru was surprised at how Sanji's weak ass could block his laser. And don't get me started on how he needed a 9-attack named combo to beat Queen. If it was a normal combo, I would have just ignored it, but no. Every attack was named in that combo. It's like Luffy using Jet Gatling and having each punch as strong as a jet pistol. Like, that's wild to me how people think this is a feat and not an anti-feat. Later, he gets eye-diffed by Saturn. I give credit where credit is due, but I am not giving credit to a man who's inspired by Joe Biden. At number 38, we have Diamond Jozu, a severely underrated character in my opinion. Jozu has the Twinkle Twinkle Fruit, which is a Paramecia type, allowing him to turn his body into diamond with an unparalleled toughness. Jozu was easily able to block Mihawk's sword slash by turning his body into diamond. Another misconception I would like to clear is that, no, this isn't an anti-feat for Mihawk. As we know, swordsmen only cut what they wish to. Mihawk's intent wasn't to cut Jozu, hence saying that Mihawk can't cut through Jozu isn't true. Without the use of his devil fruit, Jozu picks up and throws a giant iceberg larger than the giants, who are 15 meters tall on average. Although Crocodile was caught off guard, Jozu was able to blitz him with a brilliant punk, which combined his armament, haki, physical stats, and his diamond body to damage Crocodile. Crocodile also states Jozu would be a problem due to his size and speed. Later, Jozu catches Admiral Aokiji off guard and causes him to bleed due to his armament haki. We also know he's alive after the war. At number 37, we have Fire Fist Ace. Ace is somehow underrated and overrated at the same time, which is quite a unique case if I say so myself. Let's go over his feats. Ace was able to fight Jinbei for 5 days and 5 nights to near standstill while still being young. Even after fighting Jinbei for 5 days straight, Ace was able to get back up and use Flame Fence in front of Whitebeard. Ace also had the strength to stand after taking an attack from Whitebeard, which led to Whitebeard praising Ace. At Banaro, Ace was able to fight with Blackbeard and even outspeed him on various instances. Later, Blackbeard did match him, but it could be simply due to Ace getting weakened. This also means that Ace is at least relative to post-Wano Law in terms of speed, as Blackbeard was able to match him, and we don't know whether Tremor Fruit provides any speed amp. At Marineford, Ace is instantly able to vaporize half of Aokiji's Ice Block, Pheasant Peck, with Mirror Flame, Hole being weakened after weak Soft Torture in Impel Down, which is much more impressive than blocking one singular laser. Ace was also able to intercept Akainu when saving Luffy and sacrificing his life. At number 36, we have S-Hawk. Now, by saying S-Hawk, I really am including every Seraphim around this level. I could make a separate video on their ranking if you guys want, but they are roughly seen to be on the same level. Now, S-Hawk easily defeats several Blackbeard pirates while taking no damage from any of their attacks. With one swing, S-Hawk is capable of cutting through the mountain of Amazon Lily, with Blackbeard even fearing him. Later, S-Hawk is able to evade Blackbeard's Black Hole, despite making physical contact moments before Black Hole was used. S-Hawk also has durability similar to that of King due to the Lunarian DNA. Talking about S-Shark, even after Diable Jambi Sanji kicks him, S-Shark is unharmed. S-Shark is able to react to Robin's Gigante Fleur Sea Serpent Snapdragon Spank by dodging it and swimming into the ground. S-Shark is also capable of using Fishman Karate. At Egghead, 3 Seraphim are determined to be powerful even against Kaku, Stussy, and the remaining CP0 members. The lasers from S-Bear are capable of pressuring Kaku and Stussy. Even as children, S-Hawk and S-Shark are shown to take out groups of CP0 agents with ease, taking no damage in return. S-Hawk was also able to press Zoro after clashing with him equally. The air slash and laser from S-Hawk and S-Bear are able to pressure base Luffy and Zoro, nearly hitting them. Talking about their durability, S-Bear withstands and perceives Gear 4 Luffy and Hybrid Lucci's Gum Gum Kong Gun and Six King Pistol. S-Hawk withstands and perceives base Zoro and Kaku's Purgatory Onigiri and Tempest Kick White Thunder. S-Bear withstands G4 Luffy and Hybrid Lucci's Gum Gum Kong Organ Gun and Hand Pistol Yellow Lotus. S-Hawk dodges and blocks multiple base Kaku's Tempest Kick Slaughter air slashes. S-Hawk then withstands Zoro's One Sword Style EI Death Lion Song. Both Seraphim stand back up without taking significant damage, with Luffy and Zoro comparing them to Kaido and King. At number 35, we have Magellan is the Warden of Impel Down and a user of the Venom fruit, which lets him create various types of venoms as desired. Magellan is stated to be the man capable of controlling the world's most dangerous prisoners. Gear 2. Luffy hits Magellan with a Gum Gum Jet Bazooka, making him keel over from the stomach. Although Magellan was caught off guard by G2 Luffy's attack, the poison from his body that made contact with Luffy's hands are enough to kill him. Magellan uses Poison Blowfish to fire a poison projectile that G2 Luffy barely dodges while tanking Luffy's Gum Gum twin jet pistol, which shows how he scales above Luffy as long as he isn't caught off guard. Magellan also easily reacts to G2 Luffy's movements, summoning his Hydra to intercept Luffy's Gum Gum jet pistol with ease. Magellan is also in full control of Level 6, which contains criminals that are so dangerous, the government has erased their very existences. Blackbearded considers Shiryu to be dangerous, which leads him to assume it is Magellan, showing how Magellan is known for his strength. Magellan blitzes the Blackbearded pirates with Hydra, taking them down instantly with his poison. It could be argued that Blackbeard and his crew were caught off guard by Magellan, but it can also be argued that they were simply blitzed, as they didn't realize they were hit by the poison until later. At number 34 are Dory and Brogy, two giants of Elbaf. Now, many argue they weren't so impressive in Alabasta, which I could agree to. However, in the recent chapter, they have been pretty impressive. Dory and Brogy destroyed the Kid Pirates' ship with just one attack and destroy Kid and his crew. In Chapter 1106, Dory and Brogy easily tear through several marine battleships. It was even stated that the legendary giant pirates are capable of destroying marine ships with their basic attacks. Brogy on Egghead intercepts Vice Admiral Tosa before he can react by slamming his axe into his body. Bluegrass states that the strength of giants is top-notch. With Sunsaw, Dory and Brogy both cut through a part of Jupiter's sandworm body. Satyr states that G5, Luffy, Dory, and Brogy are a bad combination, referring to their strength. The giants also state that the Gorosei are beasts that look like they came from Elbaf's forest, which can be interpreted as giants being able to take down beasts of that size. With Svaelin Sunshield, Dory and Brogy stop Warkery from getting past their shields and stops his momentum. With Skillia Split, Dory and Brogy send Warkery flying back. At number 33 we have Koby. Now what I want to stress about Koby is not actually his feats, but his portrayal. Koby is known as a hero far and wide, as seen in Chapter 1080. Later we see Koby having a 5-star bounty, which is a very large amount for a captain, which is typically 1 star. Talking about Film Red, Koby was seen to have the same portrayal as King of Hell Zoro, though we can't really say if it's canon, talking about his feats. In Chapter 1059, we see how Koby was able to help Blackbeard topple Wang Zhi and become the new boss of Pirate Island. Avalo Pizarro states that Garp is leading a team of elite troops, including the likes of Koby. Garp holds Koby's strength in high regard, stating that he's capable of destroying the giant island monster's hand and protecting the battleship from the falling rubble. Garp also states that Helmeppo is capable of stalling for the two. Helmeppo, despite being a regular human, is able to intercept a cannonball and withstand the explosion. Later, when Avalo is attacking Garp's ship and no one is there to stop him, Koby awakens his advanced Conqueror's Haki to completely pulverize Pizarro's arm. I know it's very hard to believe that the future of the Marines and Garp's successor to have Conqueror's Haki, but it's true. The Marines point out how strong Koby has become for being able to accomplish this feat, though it does take a lot of energy out of Koby. Despite this, people are going to cope about Koby not being currently as strong as likes of Zoro, but what they don't realize is that there isn't going to be another time skip for Koby to grow much power in. At number 32, I have Morley, a commander of the Revolutionary Army. Now, Morley's only feats are shown at Marijoa, which is being able to press Green Bull into going full power and using his awakening and even cutting off a hand in his Logia form. CP0 also praised the revolutionaries for putting up a good fight against Fujitora and Ryokugyu, although they are stated to be handicapped severely. Fujitora and Ryokugyu are not only holding back to avoid hurting the Celestial Dragons and destroying Marijoa, but also defending the city from the revolutionaries, trying to minimize as much damage as possible while trying to defeat them in battle. But if you ask me personally, calling in a meteor ain't reducing much damage. Morley is shown to have little to no injuries after fighting a holding back Green Bull. Morley is also able to overpower Kuma and carry him into the ground. At number 31 is Karasu, another top commander of the Revolutionary Army. At Marioa, despite being riddled with bullets and being eradicated, Karasu is unharmed and able to move his body to appear behind several world government agents. With Obelissuits, Karasu is able to produce large amounts of swords made from soot, defeating them. Karasu has the Soot fruit, which is a Logia type, allowing him to produce, manipulate, and turn into soot. With Soot Barrage, Karasu is able to press Fujitora into contemplating a meteor strike on Marijoa. Lindbergh, another commander, would likely lie around this place as well, but we have too little info about him to comment on his strength, so I will just exclude him for now. At number 30 is Marco the Phoenix. Now, Marco is not credited enough for the stuff he has done. It's not every day you see a person fighting emperors and admirals on par. His best feats come from Marineford, where Marco intercepts Kizaru's light-speed lasers after they were fired, showing at least light-speed movement speed, as he had to move fast enough to get in front of Whitebeard. Marco also deflected all of Kizaru's explosive lasers by blocking with his body, completely unfazed by them. Marco has the Bird fruit, mythical Zoan type, Phoenix model, which is a Zoan type, allowing him to turn into a phoenix. Marco is praised for his strength, as he was able to take on the full force of Kizaru's attack. Many people try to say Kizaru was holding back to prevent damage. However, I would argue letting Marco hit him and fight him caused more damage to Marineford, which is counterproductive. This simply means Kizaru wasn't holding back. His offense simply isn't enough to break through Marco's regeneration. We see this again in Wano, where Big Mom states how she can't defeat Marco without going full power. We do know that Marco can be overpowered by the use of armament Haki, which means only skilled Haki users like Garp can take him down easily. In Chapter 556, Marco manages to intercept Aokiji and kick him away from Luffy with relative ease, though Aokiji was caught off guard. Later, Marco intercepts Akainu with the help of Vista. His regeneration is really commendable, as literally 2 panels ago he had Sea Stone's cuffs on, but after Mr. 3 removed them, he regenerated his wounds. At Wano, he completely overpowered King and Queen even while fatigued pre-fight. He has been able to damage King, which I already stated why it is so impressive. He only loses to them due to the lack of stamina. If he had been at his full power, he would have likely beaten both King and Queen at the same time. This is further supported when Green Bull one-shots both King and Queen, whereas Marco is able to fight on par with Kizaru for a while. At number 29 is Trafalgar D. Waterlaw. I am only going to mention his feats on the rooftop, and after that, because pre-rooftop feats of Law are almost non-existent. If you consider getting hoed by Daffy a feat, then I might be wrong. In Chapter 1001, Law is able to react to base Kaido's swing faster than Luffy can. Later, Law dodges Kaido's attack by physically moving, and he uses his room to teleport himself near Kaido's heart, using Gamma Knife to significantly hurt Kaido by bypassing his defenses. Kaido states that Luffy, Kid, and Law knew how tough his defenses are, which is why they resulted to using attacks that would hurt Kaido, regardless of his durability. Then, Law reacts to Kaido's blast breath faster than Luffy can, teleporting Zoro in front of Kaido. With Injection Shot, Law is able to hurt Hybrid Kaido and draw blood from him via a durability negating attack. Kaido himself praises Law's Devil Fruit as they throw him off. Law also manages to use Antibacterial Curtain before Hybrid Kaido can land an attack on him, allowing Law to protect himself with a barrier. Although Law was unable to defend himself against Hybrid Kaido's Advanced Conqueror's Haki-coded Thunder Bagua, Law is able to regain his consciousness in a few moments. Later, Law is able to withstand Prometheus's Stolen Fire attack. Even after taking multiple hits from Big Mom while he was down, Law is able to get back up and use K-Room to coat his sword with anesthesia. Law then pierces Big Mom's chest and her arm with his sword, using Shock Will to produce shock waves from within her body. Even after being worn out by the fight with Big Mom, Law is able to stand back up. In the Egghead arc, Law didn't really have much of an impressive performance. He did fight Blackbeard. We do know Blackbeard wasn't taking him seriously, as Van Augur states. One thing I would like to point out is how well Blackbeard endures Puncture Willie when compared to Big Mom, showing his superior endurance. At number 28 is Eustace Kid. Now, Kid and Law really are mostly relative, so you may change their rankings, but I personally think Kid is a bit stronger. In Chapter 1002, Kid magnetically controls his construct to catch Kaido in the air, use Slam Gibson, and throw him into the ground, damaging him. Despite Kid and Killer getting caught in the vicinity of Big Mom's Fulgora, they're able to get back up relatively quickly. In Chapter 1003, Kid is able to intercept and stop Big Mom's Napoleon and Prometheus amped Sword Slash. With Punk Gibson, Kid overpowers Big Mom and slams her into the ground. Despite his previous injuries due to Hawkins' straw dolls, Kid is able to survive getting hit by Big Mom's Ikoku Sovereignty. With Punk Cornadio, Kid is able to create a giant metal bull bigger than amped Big Mom, striking her with enough force to send her flying into a building. Even after getting cut by Big Mom's Master Saber, Kid's metal bull is perfectly fine. Kid is able to react to and dodge amped Big Mom's Mother's Visit cannon, 3,000 Leagues of Misery, which is sentient and capable of moving on its own. With Damned Punk, Kid is able to fire an electromagnetic projectile at Big Mom, nearly blasting her into the hole, and just like Law, he able to stand up after his fight with Big Mom. At Elbaf, with Divine Departure, Shanks is able to blitz Kid, who is caught off guard by his speed, and hit him with an advanced Conqueror's hockey-coated slash that cuts through Kid's Damned Punk with ease. In Chapter 1079, Shanks withstands the explosion caused by Kid's Damned Punk. If you are wondering, this same would have happened to Law if Blackbeard was serious against him. With one attack, Shanks is nearly able to kill Kid and nearly able to knock out Killer, who was caught up in an attack that wasn't intended for him. Shanks is also able to jump off Kid's ship and get to land safely within seconds. Dory and Brogy use Hakoku Sovereignty to fire an air slash that cuts Kid's ship in half. At number 27 is Vista of the Flower Swords, a highly underestimated character in my opinion. Now, many people are going to say, how can Vista be above Marco when Marco is the strongest Whitebeard commander? To that I say, yes, you are right, and this would be true for Marineford Vista. But using a little bit of speculation, we get to know that Vista has grown stronger over the course of 2 years. As the databook states, Vista has a very strong ambition as a swordsman, whereas someone like Marco necessarily didn't train during the time skip. Besides, he might have gotten a hacky bloom after the Payback War. And if you don't want to speculate much, just place him a rank below Marco. Talking about scaling, it's reiterated multiple times how Vista is one of the most renowned swordsmen in the world of One Piece. It's said that even Hawkeye Mihawk takes notice of him. Vista is a proficient user of observation haki and has mastered armament haki. During Marineford, Vista fought Mihawk on equal grounds. The databook states that neither Mihawk nor Vista's swords could reach each other. It's also been said how his sword prowess rivals that of Mihawk and is said to be one of the top swordsmen currently. Later, he intercepts Akainu, showing relative speed to Marco, who could keep up with Kizaru. At number 26 is Rob Lucci, who is the strongest member of Cypher Paul Aegis Zero. As I did with Law, I am not going to mention his feats at Enies Lobby. At Egghead, Hybrid Lucci is able to use 6 King Pistol to one-hit KO Atlas with ease. Lucci has the Cat Fruit, Leopard model, which is a Zoan type, allowing him to turn into a leopard. Vegapunk praises Lucci for his astonishing speed, as well as awakening his Devil Fruit, as it is typical for awakened Zoans to absorb and control the user's personality. Gear 5. Luffy and awakened Lucci are shown to match each other in a clash with armament haki, sending each other flying into a wall. Later, awakened Lucci is able to withstand Gear 5 Luffy's Gum Gum Mole pistol. With Hand Pistol, awakened Lucci is able to blitz Gear 5 Luffy and Sentomaru, nearly taking out Sentomaru with one attack. Awakened Lucci is able to withstand Gear 5 Luffy's armament haki-coated Gum Gum Dawn Whip, even after getting kicked into a building, showing virtually no signs of injury. After this, awakened Lucci is able to react to Gear 5 Luffy, popping out of the ground, dodging his bite attack. Awakened Lucci was able to withstand Gear 5 Luffy's Gum Gum Dawn Rocket, barely maintaining consciousness. Despite taking multiple hits from G5 Luffy, Lucci is shown with relatively no injuries, which shows Awakened Zone users' incredible healing factor. Later, Kizaru praises Lucci, calling him a very capable agent. Base Lucci is able to block Zoro's Armament Haki-coated swords with his Armament Haki-coated leg. Zoro and Awakened Lucci clash, with the both of them being fatigued from fighting each other. However, it's very unclear whether Zoro is using King of Hell or not at this moment. It would make sense for him to not, because as we saw him during the fight with King, it consumes a lot of stamina and energy which R would likely want to preserve. With hand pistol spots, Lucci pressures Zoro into dodging and then gets cut by an Armament Haki-coated 3-sword style Huhuva spot hunt. Awakened Hybrid. Lucci manages to still stand and maintain consciousness, even after getting cut across the chest by Zoro's attack. After this, Jinbei creates a smoke grenade to make Lucci fall to the ground. At number 25 is Shiryu of the Rain. Shiryu is stated to be as powerful as Magellan, perhaps more deadly due to his experience at the time. His lethality is to the degree to which he needed to be kept in the level 6 of Impel Down, which contains criminals so deadly their mere existence is removed from the world. We know Blackbeard has observation haki, which can be used to gauge one's strength. When Blackbeard met Shiryu, he acknowledged him as a legitimate threat and as being dangerous. It should be noted that Shiryu states the Blackbeard pirates underestimated Magellan, which can be used to argue why Magellan managed to blitz them. Shiryu has the clear fruit which lets him become invisible. At Hachinosu, Shiryu would have landed a fatal blow on Kobe had Garp not intercepted him. Shiryu stabs Garp through the stomach with his Armament Haki-coated sword and withstands getting slammed into the ground by Garp, noticeably weakening Garp. Shiryu also stands back up immediately after taking a direct attack from Garp. It's again reiterated how Shiryu weakened Garp through his stab. He also possesses great portrayal as he is one of the final opponents whom Zoro will face. He could very well rank higher, but for now, I am going to lowball him. Many people also say that he's stronger than Kuzan, which is a fair argument on its own. For people who don't know, the SBS confirms Shiryu to be Blackbeard's strongest commander, and it was later revealed that Kuzan is a member of the Blackbeard Pirates, which would make Shiryu above Kuzan. My counter is that the SBS was released earlier than the revealer Kuzan as a Blackbeard pirate. It would be hasty generalization to conclude that Shiryu is stronger than Kuzan. Before Kuzan joined the Blackbeard Pirates, that is in Dressrosa, it was merely implied or hinted that he had some sort of affiliation with them. It would be jumping to conclusions fallacy to use this idea to counter my argument. So, guys, this was the part of 1-1 my top 50 strongest characters video. I know I delayed it quite a lot, but the second part will release as soon as possible, probably this weekend. Let me know your thoughts on my list and try not to report my channel because I disagree with you. I will see you guys in my next video.
Good morning, everyone! I hate Nick!